Hey, there we are again, guys. Stream every day so far. Again, really excited about building our own Skyhawk. Yeah, today we are going to do, I don't have that much time. I started a bit later because of work, but I'd like to work on the wing flex and also to give the struts and the horizontal stabilizer a little bit of an airfoil. Well, the horizontal stabilizer already has an airfoil, but it's quite symmetric, and I don't know if it's symmetrical, and I don't think if it's thick enough. So that's something that I need to work on still. Also with the struts, that's the same issue there. So we're going to look into that as well and just see how far we go. Another thing that is interesting, I found another resource, I guess, where you can find a lot of good information about components of the Skyhawk, or I guess pretty much any aircraft, and that's eBay. There are actually pilots and other engineers or people who sell components of the Skyhawk, which is actually quite interesting to see. And so I found also some sellers who were trying to sell their wheel fairings for the Skyhawk. And obviously those sellers make pictures of all the different angles, well, to increase the chances of selling their wheel fairings and providing as much information as they can. So those were actually quite great. Hey, Azen, good to see you. And Bambino, good to see you as well. Thank you for that encouragement. Yeah, I also find it a great series, to be honest. Really nice parallel. At least parallel is actually supplementing my flight training so far. So primarily focused on developing this Skyhawk. It's really fun. Hey dogs, good to see you. Good morning. eBay, yeah. So what I found was, well, multiple pictures of the wheel fairings that I already tried to use for the wheel fairings that I made yesterday, and they are a little bit more improved, a little bit smaller, they're more precise. Also on the top they're a little bit more curved, so I'm very pleased with those. So yeah, wheel fairings. And I've also found, and that was a lucky one, someone who tried to sell this spinner. But as you can see, also provided some measurements. And that was perfect. Not that the spinner is that important for our Skyhawk, but it's fun. So 11 inches wide, and it was 16, almost 16, 15.75, I guess, inches tall. At least over this edge, and so that gave me a better understanding or insight into what the proper height and width would be. Now, what's interesting is that we used at the time Photoshop, and what I did was I had the side image of the Skyhawk, right, from spinner, top to spinner to the top of the tail. And I stretched that image out so that the number of pixels corresponded with the number of feet that the Skyhawk is actually in the real world long, right? So it was 27.16 feet long, and so I made that image, I stretched it out to 2716 pixels. And so therefore I thought that I could just use pixels as a measurement unit. And as it appears, it's actually quite precise. So in our previous version of the Skyhawk, of my Skyhawk, we made it 1.29 feet long. And it turned out to be 1.31, looking at that measure here from these pictures. So it's quite precise, which is good to know. And anyways, that's what I optimized as well. So the spinner is more perfect. Also, as you can see, I've added another, or actually did we have 2 stations before or already 3? I don't know. But what I did was also, there's a little bit of a dent here. Apparently also, excuse me, looking at these pictures, or dent, a little bit of an edge there. And that's because of these bolts that need to get in. So this is a little bit of a more stretched surface, and then it gets more curved inwards, the spinner. So I try to account for that as well, which is nice, I think. Hey Alex, good to see you. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. Oh yeah, one other thing that I tried to do and still need to do, if you look at the cowling here, this edge actually should nicely curve into the cowling. And that's not the case currently. Should be a really nice curve. We can do that actually right away. Or perhaps we are a little bit tilted, because I did work on that before. Side. Well, not quite. Should be a little bit more up. So let's do that also. Still, I'm once we did the airfoil here of the wings, I'm also going to make the cabin more aligned here with the top of the airfoil, so it's nicely curved with it. Currently, it is not quite. Okay, that's kind of like a summary of what I'm up to. Whoa, sorry. Let me see what station. Well, chill station is actually good. Okay, so let's do that first. So I'm talking about this little edge. Hey Heck, good to see you. Standard fuselage, side view. This one. It should be a little bit taller, I thought. I forgot already. Yes, just a tiny bit. That's pretty good. Okay, fixed. So let me look at the struts first. So those don't have a airfoil just yet. As you can see, it's as thin as air, which is not correct, as you know. This thickness is, but not this thickness. So let's make it thicker. And it's just a symmetrical shape. So let's go to airfoils. Those are miscellaneous, I think. And the question is which one. And I cannot use my turning keystrokes there, so whoop, airfoils. Are they? Oh, they're not being highlighted. Okay, so then we need to go back here to miscellaneous wings and select the right tab to see what is highlighted. That's number 9 and number 10. Number 9 and number 10. Number 9 and number 10. So symmetrical. Again, I need to look up what this stands for. This Reynolds number, low and high. Don't quite yet know what that is. Hey, OBR, good to see you. Always nice to see you keeping up with this good work. Thank you for that encouragement, guys. Thank you so much. Also, talking about encouragements, I also received a reply by Rush yesterday evening, Aerosim Gaming, and he's such a nice, kind guy. So he said, well, whatever you want, ask me questions. We can do it on stream or through Discord or whatever I can do to help. So that was really great. So I'm trying to develop some kind of way by which we can, not really involve him, but we can pick his brain about aircraft development. He was also referring to Evil Nando, and I think we had an Evil Nando here on the chat as well, but I'm not quite sure whether that was Evil Nando or Evil someone else. But he apparently did a lot of the 3D or all of the 3D modeling and coding for the Super Cup made by Aerosim Gaming, or that team. So he might also be involved, and we can talk with him about, hey, Miniwebs, good to see you. Talk about aircraft development and pitfalls and stuff that we need to look out for. So that's interesting. So I thought, well, what could we ask Rush? Now, one thing that I'm quite interested in and also is relevant in case of our progress, perhaps we can invite him multiple times on the stream, or we can find some other way to get that information. Perhaps we don't find a fitting time because of differing time zones. I'd like him to tell me a bit about, or instruct me or guide me a little bit about airfoil maker and also how to test the Skyhawk. I mean, I've seen many streams of his where he is testing and optimizing already existing aircraft in terms of drag and lift and all of the different variables out there. And I'm curious whether there is some kind of systematic approach to doing that, and what are the most key variables that we need to look at. I mean, we can put in some numbers here, but as soon as we're going to fly in the Skyhawk, I mean, we see a big average of the thing flying, right? So when we make a turn, well, I have a feel for whether it's right or wrong, but we need to disentangle that banking behavior or whatever behavior into multiple variables that we then need to change in PlaneMaker. And that to me is one big blur. So I think my first question for him, a general question, is whether he could just provide us with an overview or an approach or a strategy to get our performance of the Skyhawk just right. And that would be a fun talk, I guess. OBR, what I remember from his physics studies is that Reynolds number was something about laminar or turbulent flux of a fluid, air in this case. Okay. Well, again, they're perhaps, I don't know, so differing in the low or high number of the Reynolds value, PlaneMaker can load up a different airfoil, I guess. So now I've made them all the same, but we need to look that up in one of the next streams when we have time to work on that. Tomorrow is a family day, so that will be no streaming for me. I'll be away from home. So next week it's going to be airfoil makers week, I guess. Really looking forward to that. Anyways, wing 9 and 10. Well, low Reynolds, I don't know whether we should change these as well, but I do know that they need to be thicker. So again, NECA is some kind of acronym for airfoils, that of an airfoil category, something like that, that is being used by the Skyhawk. It's symmetrical, which makes sense, and these numbers, I think, represent thickness. We're now at 0, 0, and 9er, which is quite thin. So let's go to 24 and have a look. And there it is changed. I was looking where it was changed. Yeah. Open, and then this one too. And also today, if SN is ready, also an aircraft developer, we can invite him on stream as well and have a chat. Alrighty, now we should have thicker struts, and yes we have. Okay, so that's 24. Let's grab a picture to see how thick they should actually be. We don't have a lot of, we could also make our own symmetrical airfoil, I guess, to make it as thick as it should be, which might be fun, but that's not for today. Front. So let's just approach that thickness. Well, if I look at this picture, so we need to look up some real world ones. It seems too thin still. Yes. Is it completely at the front? I guess not. No. Yeah, so it could be a little bit thicker, I guess. So airfoils, let's go for the 30. 30. Hello? Oh yeah, still looking at the wrong row there. Yes. Open. 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 And the same we're going to do with the horizontal stabilizer and also the vertical stabilizer. Done. Let me check. Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. We got thicker struts. Oh yeah. One thing that I am noticing though, perhaps that's just me. Can see it should be up a bit more. And I'm wondering whether the, again, angle of incidence is right, or whether actually the wing is a bit rolled. Let me look at the inner parts here indeed. No, it seems to be the right angle into the wind. Okay. Awesome. Okay, but it should be a little bit bigger. And I guess therefore also on the other side. Yes, we can. I can barely see here a little bit of an edge there. That's miscellaneous swings. Miscellaneous swing 9. Semi-length. Right. 90. Perhaps we need to change the vertical arm as well. No, I guess not. No, it's now nicely tucked into the wind just slightly. Now I still see a bit. And here. Here it just seems fine. Oh yeah, that makes sense because we got a different dihedral on that side and not here. Yeah. So standard miscellaneous wings. What is? Oh, it does highlight. Great. Oh, with miscellaneous wings it does. Yeah, not with the airfoil. Yeah. So this one needs to be a bit bigger. There it goes. Let's make it 8. Yeah, wonderful. What's the pitot tube also? No, that seems good. Yeah. Then we can have a look at the horizontal stabilizer. What kind of airfoil did we use there? Again, does it highlight? No, because with the airfoils it doesn't. So that was also miscellaneous wing. So let's go to, yeah, that one. Wing 7 and wing 8. Wing 7 and 8. Symmetrical, and it's quite thin. Okay. It does look thick though. Perhaps also already thick enough. Clear. Let's have a side view. It also does look thin. Actually, you would almost say that this one is too thick. I'd like to see a picture. Yeah, we could just search for it, but I wonder whether anyone has actually ever put that into the title. Oh, well, it's not too bad. Aye. Yeah, it's a little bit of an angle there. Again, it does look quite thin. Yeah, it's actually really thin. If you look at that. I mean, it's thicker over there, but I would say it needs to be thinner. That's interesting. Airfoils, that was 7.8, was it? So let's use the 6. Airfoil 6. And the other one. Can perhaps we need to change that from differing in that low or high number Reynolds value. That was 6. What do we have? Yeah, that's better. That's better. How about the vertical stabilizer then? Yeah. Again, it's hard to see with these pictures. Aircrafts. Top. Let me see. Well, that's actually quite thick, to be honest, and well, at the base it seems wide enough. How did that work already? No, that was just wings. Vertical stabilizer, yeah, that's the top. It had a semi-length, it had a root chord, yeah, but not a root width. So we can only change the airfoil. Should it be thicker? I mean, if I look at the base here, it's much thicker than in the picture. But at the top... Oh, but at the top, that was a additional kind of thingy, right? That's actually not the cord of the vertical stabilizer. That's some kind of a... that's this thing. This thing. So in that case, it's actually quite thick, and we should lean it up. Airfoils. Wings. Vertical stabilizer. Indeed, indeed. Number 9. Why do we have... Oh, that's the vertical. Yeah, that's that one. I guess both can be changed. Let me also look at the other one. The top view once more. Let me see. Yeah, so this piece, again, is also quite thick here. Much too thick. So that should also be thinned out. SN. What are you saying? Yeah, be this soon, I guess. Roger. Thinner. Airfoils. So not 9, but 6. And that one as well. Much better. Much better. Yeah, so one thing that we could do, I mean, we also added the the pitot tube and the exhaust pipe. So what we could do just to make things right is also put a miscellaneous body there on top. Just that thickness. Struts and horizontal. Oh, it should also have a 3-degree angle of incidence. Yeah, that's actually airfoil stuff. Let me first think about that top thing of the vertical stabilizer. This thing. Should we add it? Well, it doesn't really matter that much. So it's just more like an aesthetic issue. Okay, with miscellaneous bodies, PlaneMaker doesn't provide us with a additional window where we can simultaneously see what we're doing with our miscellaneous body and our aircraft models. We need to switch constantly between the miscellaneous body menu and this view. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. Well, it might be fun to create it actually. We also made the pitot tube. I think we should make that as well. Okay, cool. Standard miscellaneous body. We have so many tabs left. Section, external body. We have number of stations. 3 is fine. Let's make it 9 again. Standard body radius. This was the pitot tube. I guess we can use the exhaust pipe. So that's 0.2. Perhaps a bit too thick. Let's make it 15. Drag, I have no idea. We need to set that up. Then we can do with stations. Yeah, I think I'm noticing what PlaneMaker is doing. Only with the first and the last station, I cannot seem to move the individual vertices. I can only see this one point that I can move, which is quite... Here you can see multiple, but then if I click on it, it just... Yeah, but with the middle stations, it does. So... that might give us a workaround, but I think I'm not really understanding what I'm supposed to do here, but it's quite annoying. Yes. Done. So 3 in between. Yes. Now 15, so we can make a, we can just stretch it out. Like so, and we can use these numbers here. 0.3. Do I get what's going on here? It's 0.15 body radius, and here I'm now at 0.126, and it's already off the chart. That's surprising actually. Copy, paste. We have a tube now. Elliptic though. Copy, paste. This is more cube-like, but still a bit unsure. 0.15 radius 9. No idea. Let's have a look what we have. It should have a distance. How much was the exhaust pipe? It was minus 0.7. So let's do that here as well. Minus 0.7-ish. We have to look. It needs to go up, obviously. How many feet? 5. And it needs to have a longitudinal arm that is positive, I think. Around 8. Let me see. Where are you? There are you. Length seems to be... yeah, too short. Let's just fit it on top of this, even though it should be extended all the way down. I think. We'll have a look there. And it's also much too thin. Miscellaneous body. Yeah, I would say it needs to be 0.15, but that's really, really weird. Body radius 15. 15. So now this should be 15, but it's not. What happens if we do put it on 1.15? Ellipse. Yeah, it's silly. This is not good. Oh, no. I mean, the same goes for here. Something goes wrong here. And here as well. I think PlaneMaker has some trouble. Or it's just me doing something wrong with zooming. Perhaps it's because of this. Zoom out until it stops. Go back, standards, miscellaneous bodies. That looks good. Yes, that looks good as well. Okay, can I zoom in here? Oh, I can. I can zoom in with sections. Okay. Okay. Weird. Up. Up. Oh, no, not the other. Yeah, there. 0.5. This one is 0.5. And that one is 0.5 as well. Elliptic. Copy. Paste. Paste. Now it should be much thicker. Yeah. Just a bit too much, I think. Miscellaneous bodies. Let's make it 12. Elliptic, elliptic, elliptic. Yes. Standard, miscellaneous bodies, make it longer. Minus 1 feet. It's not enough. Standard, miscellaneous bodies. 1.5 feet. That's already better. Yeah. Let me first get the vertical arm, right? There's our background, front. There is our zoom. Is it correctly zoomed? I think so. Okay, so our tube is somewhere here. Let's get it up. Or we can hardly see it. That's the problem when we are... Yeah, so now we do see it. Miscellaneous vertical arm. Let's make it 6. It's looking good. Looking really good. Then it needs to go to the back. Standard miscellaneous body 10. $12. 13. 13 and a half. No, it's too much. 13.2 then. Well, we're not there yet. Yeah, it's nice that it's a little bit in the wing. That's good. Just needs to go a little bit forward. So that would be 10. That's too much. Okay, PlaneMaker. 0.15 then. Ooh, that's still a tiny bit too much to the yes. We could put it on top, or we can also just put it a little bit lower, and with the just extend it. We do need to extend it all the way down, all the way. I think that's more pretty. Fuselage, miscellaneous bodies. Let's see how that looks. 20, even 3 feet. That's too much. .6. Let's increase. Yeah, that's why I actually should not use negative numbers here. Makes it a bit more tricky. That's not bad. Miscellaneous bodies. Yes. That's nice. Now it's a doesn't need to have a front and a back surface, and it should also be a little bit more rounded here. So let's see if we can do that. Miscellaneous body. Yeah, perhaps we do need more stations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy paste. I guess. I mean, at the front, it's going to be. Let me see. Tail. Yeah, that's it. What has happened there? Whoa. This is already quite okay. So it doesn't look that much of a thing actually. So perhaps the picture is exaggerating that. Here again, you do see a little bit of an extension, but it's quite minor. Okay, I think we should actually remove the entire thing. I mean, looking at the picture, there should be. I mean, there's a little bit of a bump there, but that's really not worth our time, even though we already spent it. What do you guys think? It's virtually non-existent actually. So that picture, this is a little bit unrealistic. Okay, never mind. Standard miscellaneous bodies. How do we remove it? We just do it like this, I guess. That was fun, but not necessary. Okay. So what we did was the struts, horizontal stabilizer. See manual, it should be 3 degrees. But 3 degrees what? But it seems to be moved down a bit more. So what did we have set right now? That's miscellaneous wings. That was 9 and 10, or those the struts that were the struts, 7 and 8, I think. Yes, I can see it highlighted. Okay, and I have no angle of incidence. We do have a sweep, no dihedral. Yeah, the dihedral angle was good because that was matched with the front surface, but now it also needs to have a little bit of an angle of incidence. Yeah, it should be pointed down, I guess. Can we find something about that? Perhaps not this manual. Let's see. Oh, we have this PDF we also have. Elevator tab, rudders, no, perhaps the information manual. Stabilizer. Why is this thing not selected? Elevator. Yeah, so that's always the thing. When you find something in those manuals, you should actually just annotate it so you know where you read it. Perhaps we can just Google it. Let's see what we can find. Horizontal, no, Cessna, Skyhawk 172S. It's not type specific, but horizontal stabilizer, angle. Slightly negative, yeah. Horizontal stabilizer is a non-movable surface with a slightly negative angle of incidence, which create a tail-down force. This tail-down force is necessary for the longitudinal stability of the aircraft. May include a black rubber strip on the leading edge to prevent dents. That's cool, but what is the... Wow, this looks like an interesting document, actually. Ooh, nice pics. Yeah, as you can see, it's quite thin. But doesn't... Yeah, so it's negative, so we know that for sure. Angle incidence. Where is it? Interesting stuff, by the way. Fixed stabilizer, we know. Oh, here. I think... No, horizontal tail data for the 172. No, that's not ours. And that already was it. I guess we're not even looking at our own Skyhawk. Okay. Well, we did find it was 3 degrees. What we could do is just set it in just to see what it looks like. There was no wing twist, so it's just 3 degrees and it's negative. So 3, 3, 3, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3. And 3 customized chords. Leading edge offset. Interesting. Chord ratio, chord offset. So rather than having a root and a tip chord, you can then set for each station the particular. What's the leading edge offset? Hello? Can we get a hover? Trailing edge offset, chord ratio and chord offset. This looks like interesting stuff, even though I'm quite pleased with the ratios of the different wing stations. But anyways, 3 degrees. What's the miscellaneous wing? 8 minus 3 minus 3 minus 3 minus 3. Okay, let me have a look what it looks like. Zoom out. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. 3 degrees. Look at that. Let me just even background side. Should be a little bit smaller, quite a bit shorter actually. That's pretty good. Yeah. It was 3 degrees, I think. Look at that. It's a really nice fit, but I'd like to see it one more time because I'm not sure. Horizontal stabilizer, horizontal stabilizer. Was that the surface menu? Horizontal stabilizer. Or, yeah. Ha, here it is. No, this is just the ordinary. No, wing twist and horizontal stabilizer angle for incidents are shown below. Wings have no twist from the root to the yeah, we already twist in the wing panel occurs between the decision and the rib, refer to wing, and this is the stabilizer. Yeah, so that's 3 degrees and 30 something, which goes up to what? What's 30? 30 minutes? Can we get that just in the degrees? Does Google understand that? 3 degrees and 30 minutes? So how is that called? 30 minutes to decimal degree, exactly. Conversion calculator, bring it on. Australian Antarctic Division. Sounds fancy. No, I would like to go the other way around. Examples of correct inputs for degree. Oh, perhaps that also works with Google. So 3, 30, and just 2. Is that? No, not images. No, that doesn't work. Just separate the degrees from minutes and seconds. Or vice versa. I don't get this, guys. I would like to go from degrees, minutes, seconds to degrees to this format. I don't get it. Is there another conversion calculator? Yes. 3 degrees. 30 minutes. 0 seconds. Convert. 3.5 degrees. 3.5 degrees. Yeah, so up to 60 they go. Yeah, minutes make sense. Yes, so back standard miscellaneous swings. They should be set to 3.5. It's quite an angle. And again, I like the fact that we look up these numbers. Oh, 7. Rather than just guessing them. Three and a half. 3.5. And there we go. Correct level of incidence for the stabilizers. Checked. Perhaps we can also find something about the vertical stabilizer. And again, wing twist washout is 3 degrees and 37. Let's also convert that one. 30, 37 converts. So that's 3.61. No. Wing foil, airfoil customized wing cords. Washouts. Total is 30.61 degrees. And we calculated with oak 1.94. So 1.92. 92? Let me look that up. I mean, his numbers correspond with mine. Yeah, 9.4. But it goes to minus 1.32. Yes, so 1.94 plus 1.31 is 3.25. That's pretty damn close. That's pretty damn close. So yeah, it all makes sense. So the washout wing twist degrees that we inferred through some basic maths from this chart, as I explained in the beginning of the previous episode, corresponds with the total amount of wing wash from this angle to that angle, if we add those up, to what this manual is saying how much that should be. 3 degrees and 37. So that's good. That is good. And if I look at this table then, the bachelor thesis, because that was a much more fine-grained table of what the angle of incidence would be per station. Yeah, indeed. So you got 141 plus 1.5. 2.9. This is 2 less. So that's interesting. So that means that this table that we found, even though it's more fine-grained, is not correct. And I'm also getting a bit tired listening to some anime, manga, kind of Naruto kind of soundtrack. Ambient? Okay, so that's a bummer. But now we confirmed that. So this is not it. So we should just stick to the manual, which makes sense. Okay. That also means that we can input that as well, irrespective of the airfoil. So let's do that, I guess. So miscellaneous wings, what do we have? Wing number 1, wing number 2, 4, 5, 4, 5. Yes. So no, let me grab that other picture. Well, we need both actually. These for the numbers, and I'd also like to see that full picture actually. What can we search for? Bolt, I think. Perhaps there are more bolts. Yeah, I think so. It was 600 something. Do I see it here as a thumbnail? No. Where was it? Yeah, it was somewhere around here. Man, these manuals are so cool. There it is. This is the same, right? 39. This is the... yeah, B30, yeah. Okay. So, these stations. We got 3 of those. One is at 39. Can we work with such a precise number? I guess not. And it's also the same up to this point, which is also the end of our station. So that's perfect. Now, which one is what? Yeah, this is the outer one. Just see that flap. So then this one should be that first number, which was 1.9. Is that correct? 1.94. And that's the first chunk. That's this. Yeah, up to that one. And again, this is based off of the flat surface, undersurface, under the bottom of the wing. So perhaps it's a bit off, but the overall curve does match in terms of washout. Let's just see what it looks like. 6 is exaggerated as it is right now. So we need to change that. Okay, so that's corrected, and then for the outboard wing, we need to set -131. That's interesting, and that's but that's a washout, so it's not going to be that we need to put in that number for the entire wing. It should And width. Yeah, that's our last station. That's, yeah. So minus 19. And there comes the washouts. Interesting. Can we zoom in? Here you can see the washout happening. So it starts, I guess, from that same angle, which was 1.9 at the root of this section. There it is. And then it goes all the way down. Also closely matches my cabin, by the way, now. Cabin roof. Yeah, so this is, I guess, a bit of a guess. No, it should go down, not to 1.9. It should go down to 1.3. Oh. 1.3. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know if it's a gradual... yeah, it's rather than just, we could divide it over these number of stations, equally divided over those stations, but what we could also do, or what is better, is just to get a good picture of that wing and work through that. Angle of incidence, wing. Yeah, it's hard to see. Also just through a picture, I guess. It's this curve. Let's bring it down first to 1.9 because 6 is ridiculous. All right, heck. All right. Yeah. So now it fits over there. Let's go from the other way around. And let's move that thing up so we match that picture just a tiny bit. Zoom out. Just go up. Oh, thank you, PlaneMaker. Hey, Scrab. Finished my ortho scenery for Germany and Italy. Wonderful. Good to hear, Scrab. Enjoy that scenery. Must look awesome. I mean, Germany and Italy ortho. Should be cool. Yeah, what am I going to do? There's that incidence, as you can see. Well, there should be a 0 somewhere. But where should it be? Where should it be? Tool size large. Angle of incidence, yes, I know. This site we already visited before. think. Yes. No, it's not clear at all. I guess so few degrees is also hard to spot. This is not our Skyhawk. You can see also here there's a little bit of a washout. Perhaps we should just make it gradual. Let's see how that would look like. Calculator. So we need to bridge 1.9 plus 1.3 in 10 stations. Yeah, so divided by 10. So 0.32 of a difference. Let's have a look. 6. It's not, well, we cannot do that on the second decimal there, but 3, 0. Well, now let's put in 4. So 6, and then 3. 3, 0. Minus 3 minus I'm not doing this correct. Oh, we obviously have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0.4. 7, 3, 5, 9. Well, it doesn't really matter that much, but still. Well, the curve does look nice if you just divide it almost equally. Washouts. It's a tiny bit over there. It actually happens mostly at the end. Again, this is not a nice picture, by the way. This is not the 172S, but that would suggest to me that it's mostly at the end where the twist occurs. And let's look at the table once more. Multiple stations. Yeah, so that jump that jump, big jump, happens from station 5 to 6. We're now at 4. So that's this thing? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, perhaps this does not include that last bit of ours. Yeah. Okay, so that would suggest to me also in relation to, in reference to those pictures, that we should indeed not equally divide it. And this should actually be very much more close to 0. 1.9, 1.9. Yeah, it should just go down already a bit. But it's a bit of guesswork, and I don't like that. It would always be guesswork, I guess, because we have 2 stations, and we will not find any picture or table that shows these numbers with 10 stations. This has a nice curve, though, if we look at this. This is weird. This is already -5. So there's a little bit of that. And in the total still sums up to 3 degrees. We don't know where the curve actually is, or the heart of the curve. But we're precise with the degrees of the washout. So that's good. Also our dehedral is good. And because of this change, again, our wings are much more in tune with the height of the cabin, which you also sync with the picture. So that would suggest to me that we're on the right track. And again, we need to change the airfoil as well here. Yeah, you can see that curvature here along the ailerons that we just built in. Let me see, is this right? 0.7, 0.5, 0.3. Yeah, or should it just stay that way and only change at the end? Dunno. It seems gradual. It seems gradual. Okay, let's just stick with that then. I believe there was a particular picture that showed that. Well, it doesn't really matter. One. it seems more gradual on this end. We can load up the default 172 to see what they are doing. I guess we also need to change the wing tip here to do the same. Let's do that first. Miscellaneous wings. That will be wing tip 6, and that should also be 1 minus 1.3. Yeah, that's better. Nicely synced. Okay. Let's save. Load up the default 172. Laminar 172. And there it is. But let's remove the Blender Pretty model and just the, yeah. Also that it's extended here. It's interesting. I need to look at that as well. Yeah, washout. Yeah, so if we look at the washout here, you can see there's a little bit of a... The real washout happens over here. It goes down and goes up again. Let me see what numbers they use. That's just wings. Yeah, here it is. 3 degrees. Wow, that's much. 3 degrees. And it goes down to 0. Huh. Yeah, so they still manage to, and it's not precise. It's firstly it's what is not precise because the total number of degrees part of the washout is actually 3.5 degrees. So the washout is too less, the twist is too less. And the starting angles, they just put in 3 at the beginning and went over to 0. And did not account for, yeah, so that's something that we improved on as well. And what they did was, yeah, again, it's at this station where they, I mean, here's 0, so it's at this station where it dips in and goes back again to 0. And that's this dip. And that's something that I don't get. But something that we don't know for sure ourselves because, hey Steve, good to see you. Because we only have 3 stations that we can work with in terms of that washout. So we don't know what's going on in between these 2 stations. Perhaps there's another twist, a twist within a twist, like is happening here. I mean, I would expect this to just stay at 0 then, but it just goes down even further and then goes up. And I cannot seem to find that information. And it also does not show in this picture, just continuous. Even though these angles are also a bit off. Steve, will you be making a custom cockpit for this 182 as well? Well, firstly, it's a 172 Skyhawk, not the Skylane, but the Skyhawk. And yes, we'll do a custom cockpit, high-res 3D cockpit as well. Firstly, with a slant alpha layout, so no GPS, just a basic classic. That's how I like to fly it. But then on top of that, I'm going to make additional models with the layouts that we all want. So one with the basic 430, with the 530, with double, with the 750. And also we're gonna include lots more animations. No glass, please. No, exactly. Exactly. And we already have a very pretty looking Skyhawk with G1000 provided by Lemonade. Anyways, so yeah, they have a little bit of a dip there, and their numbers are a bit off. So let's load up our own Skyhawk. Don't save. So there it is. Again, if we look here, it's a gradual decrease in angle of incidence. Also, if we look here at this picture, it's straight. Let me just search on Google one more time to see if we can find. Also on this picture, you can see it's straight. There's no twist in the twist. Let me see. I've got a dark background here on my Twitch chat, so I don't know I cannot read your name there. Hi, how is it going with 172? Have not been around much, not so much time for Twitch these days. Well, it's going great. Thank you for asking. Yeah, making progress here. So this is the model, and we are very precise actually with all of the angles of the wings and twists and stuff. We even added additional models here like the pitot tube and the exhaust pipe, so that it is accounted with the in the model as well. So I'm pretty proud actually. It's looking good. Still, there's still a lot more work that we need to be doing here in PlaneMaker before we can do our first test flight, but for now I'm pleased. Okay, so let me see if I can find any information or pictures of that angle of incidence. Wing washout, well, clearly that doesn't provide us with the with loads of pictures that we can use or seem to be what we are looking for. So I guess we just need to look for what's this? This is some other complex stuff. Yeah. So that doesn't work. Chemo. Hey, Chemo. Well, your font is black, so I cannot read it here. Chemo, good to see you. I was wondering where you were. Yeah, busy. I'm busy as well with a lot of work. At least last week is still part of my holiday break, Christmas break. So I've got much time to work on this stuff. So that's cool. Again, 172. As you can see here, also with the wing, there is no wing washout in a washout. You can see here by looking at these. Again, vertices, it's almost like we're working in PlaneMaker. You can see these rectangles, these lines. And if you look closely, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see it's turning like this. So these lines here, these lateral lines, they go more pointed up as we progress to the wingtip here. So you can see it goes like so, a little bit downwards, but then it goes up and it goes up and it goes up, telling us that this wingtip is actually a more negative angle of incidence. So it seems gradual here. And looking at this picture, perhaps the biggest change already happens at the transition from this point. I mean, here I also see quite a change here in that angle. Rather than here. But we read that the washout was from the core to the tip, I believe. With the surface manual. Here. Wing washouts. Wing washouts instances are shown below. Stabilizers do not have twists. Wings have no twist from the root to the lift strut station. Exactly. All twist in the wing panel occurs between this station and the tip rib. Twist measurement refer to 18.2. I think we already looked at that, but wing twist washout 3 degrees. Well, that exactly matches what we're doing. Almost exactly. More than the full 172. Scrap, will you build this aircraft just for you? Nope. It's going to be freeware, and I'm going to package it. I'm going to make a website for it. I'm going to... No, it's a community collaboration effort. That's also why I'm streaming it. Also to inspire you guys, some of you, to also start tinkering with making your own aircraft or editing aircraft. So it's going to be totally freeware and available for all of you guys. 18.2 then. Repair criteria. Although this section outlines red structure by such will be restricted as time, blah blah blah. Airworthy condition. Yeah, doesn't really provide us with much. Yeah, the only thing that I'm still curious of is whether that washout happens already here. I mean, if I look at these pictures, again, as I said, at this picture, the washout, the twist happens from here to there, from that first root section here along where the strut starts. That's the line where it suddenly, well, not this turn, this is just a sweep, this thing. But you can see also if you look at these lines here that it suddenly moves up. And that to me suggests that that's where the twist happens and not at the tip. View image. Hey, what? Good to see you. Good afternoon. So again, we cannot quite see what's behind this low-hanging wingtip. Hey, M3, good to see you. What are we going to do? Well, it's gradually changing. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just based on observation. We don't have any tables on this other than this stuff. And based on this stuff, we have it made right. And also just to re-emphasize, because I explained it in the previous stream, but now that we're working on it. Again, what you see here is a wing, obviously. And for the engineers, they like to put that on a table, and you need to have bolts of different heights in order to make it level, or kind of level, or well, make it work here on this surface. And you got a bolt A and a bolt B, and they have different heights, and those heights differ based on, this is the same picture, on where you put those. We got one here, and there. And that's the table here. We can see the different heights for those bolts depending on what wing station we are talking about. And so one of our viewers here referred me to, or made me aware of the fact that we can then do some basic maths to infer the angles here just through using these. So you can just use the inverted tangens of the difference between these two bolts in heights divided by the C dimension. And that's when you get those angles. And that's the best that we come up with so far. So, I think, yeah, that's just a basic limitation. The wings look great. That washout in a washout, that default that Laminar is doing is not correct. Also, the is incorrect. And also the starting angles with the default 172 is incorrect. So we are doing better. Not that that is the primary aim, but I'm just mentioning that because I'm proud of the fact that we're doing our research. So that's good. And 3, from my recollection of aerospace engineering classes, which I skipped in favor of going out with the opposite. Not the best advice maybe, but hey, empirical evidence is best. Build it, fly it, adjust it later. That's the technique I used. Well, it's hard to do it that way, actually. I mean, such subtle differences, we're not really going to notice that much in the sim. And that could be the argument to say, well, why do you care then? Well, it's just care. So that's why I'm going to sign this one off. So what we're going to do is make a screenshot of the wings that we just worked on. So those are wings 4. Yeah, those look good. And we're going to copy those to the other side of the ring. So away, away, away. Yeah, that's the only bit we need. And this is the inner part. So this is the just root. It's not really a good name, but anyways. Oh, this is going to be the same, obviously. Why did I copy that? Well, it doesn't really matter. Tip. And this is the winglet or the tip. Which is going to be, yeah, we know, minus 1.3. So actually we only need this one. That's wing number that. Yeah, so we worked with 6 degrees, which was so much too exaggerated. 1.9. 1.4. Scrap, I'd like to build some smaller airports in WET, but I don't really know how to get started. Well, I'd like to do that as well sometime in the future. We should ask MiniWebs to do a vlog series about how to do that, because he's making airports too. I'm doing pretty good job. 1.1, 0.8. Again, I'm not going to look for any pictures or stuff to see whether these angle of incidences, even though they should show the same kind of total washout, that they would differ from station to station depending on which wing we're looking at. Again, it's so hard to just see the washout in the wing, so I don't bother actually. This is already the best that I've seen so far. I also look at the Airfoil Labs one to see what they are doing actually. That might be cool. I've only looked at the default 172. 1.3, and this is 0.6, and that will be then minus 1.3. 1.4, 0.8, 4, 0, 3, did I do something wrong there? 0.3. 06, 09, yes. 06, 09, and then yes. And then the wing tip, that should be the same as the last station of the previous section. That would be minus 0.3. Chemo says, watch Jan Vogel's tutorials on WET. They are pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. Open a new window. Jan Vogel. Oh, he's also presenting at the German flight simulation convention soon. Yeah, I've heard about his name. Playlists. wet tutorials, transitioning to version 2 for... That's interesting. Creating your own airport, planning your airport construction. Cool. Wow, good one, Chemo. Doesn't surprise me really, but there's not too many good resources, at least for aircraft development. Also because it's quite a complex endeavor, also with the 3D modeling and stuff. But yeah, copied. Minus, yeah, that's all good. And that one should just be, oh no, that one should be changed as well, because the root here is also still that 6, which should be 1.9. 1.9. Oh man, anytime now. Anytime now. I think tomorrow eBay said that my vintage original Flight Simulator 5.0 product box is going to be delivered. I've set a Google alert for like 15 years, believe it or not, to give me an alert when someone would sell that classic product box. That was the first Flight Simulator version that I used to get into flying. My father bought, or we actually bought it together in somewhere nearby where we lived back then. And I can still, that it's such a nostalgic picture. I was just totally blown away by fun and excitement to learn about flying. At that time I was 8 or so. But unfortunately my dad, because we went over to Flight Simulator 2000 and blah blah blah, he thrown that box away. Also with the manual and also our original yoke and stuff, which I understand, but still it was a bummer. I would love to have saved that one up. Save that one for just for the sake of keeping that memory. And so I started a search for the original Flight Simulator box and stuff, but it's actually so vintage that people don't sell it and just keep it. Also with big flight simulation conventions, I couldn't find it. And then suddenly someone in Ireland offered it, and I instantly bought it. So it should be delivered tomorrow. It even has the original diskettes, floppy disks in them, which is great. I'm going to show it on stream as well. You started with Flight Simulator 98, yeah. 93 was Flight Simulator 5.0. I also found that original yoke that we were using, the CH virtual pilot yoke, a white one. Also found someone who suddenly, the exact same model, it was actually the first model who sold it in Canada. It should be arriving in this weekend as well. And a lot of other stuff. But I will only be able to show it on the stream at my birthday, because actually I bought that stuff so that my dad could give it to me on my birthday. Because I saw it online, I immediately bought it and didn't want to wait for him to buy it and order it, because yeah, 15 years. So at the end of January, when I'm at my birthday, then I'm going to show it. And I'm going to hold it and keep it near me for an entire day. Azan, good to see you. Welcome back. And Toe, good to see you as well. What a throwback. Yeah, it is. There are actually emulators where we can still boot that stuff up and fly, which would be fun as well. I think there are emulators. I'm not sure. There should be. Anyway, guys, 1.9, it's good. We fixed our wing twist stuff, and we based it on actual maths and from the manual, which I'm also quite pleased of. This is the most accurate physics model, or whatever we should call it, PlaneMaker model of the Skyhawk so far. In the world, we can say. which is good. Still, it doesn't amount to much because we still have the airfoils to figure out. Also with the propellers, as you can see, they are super flat. We also need to put in a lot of numbers for the engine and stuff, which also make a big difference in flight performance. So yeah. Hey, I see a little bit of a curve there in my elevators, which make it not the most accurate default or accurate Cessna Skyhawk around. That's miscellaneous wings. That's the stuff that we set. So move around. There it is. Minus 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, because, yeah. I thought because I only checked these boxes, then I shouldn't put that angle of incidence in with the last station, but that's obviously incorrect. 3.5. And the same should be true for the other. Oh, I did set it here. Hey, this one should be off then, I guess. Yes, that's much better. Okay, let's save it also. In the world of end of any sentence sounds great. Fact. Yeah, M3. But it's true. It's true. And again, yeah, perhaps I'm contradicting myself, but still, to my feelings here, it's not about making the best Skyhawk. It's making a good Skyhawk, an accurate Skyhawk. And it's funny to see when we compare it to already existing models that we're actually doing a great job. But that's secondary, truthfully. Even though I'm quite curious still to see what the Airfoil Labs is doing with the wing washout. So, shall we have a look? Airfoil Labs, low res because we don't care. Yeah, again, we need to hide some additional parts. Hide all, only the model. Yeah. I'm not interested in the fancy model. This is actually what explains it. Now look at these flaps, guys. We found this out yesterday or the stream before that. Look at that chord ratio. This is insane. But even more so, look at these. This Cessna Skyhawk, to X-Plane, in the eye of X-Plane, has slats at the front leading edge of the wing. Now, it's not that I don't trust the Airfoil Labs. I mean, if you look at the Blender model, this stuff is not visible. But again, we've got two models. Every aircraft, most aircraft have two models. The one, the PlaneMaker model that X-Plane is using to do all the calculations and stuff for the air performance, flight performance. And the other one that we actually visually see, the graphical fancy one. And the fancy one looks pretty good. But this is weird. Now, it could be that the Airfoil Labs team has actually messed around with these chord ratios. And even though it doesn't look realistic, perhaps it does fly more realistically because PlaneMaker is not that sophisticated, or X-Plane is not that sophisticated. Because I cannot believe that they did not see this and think, hey, is that also part of a Skyhawk? So, yeah. Anyways, you can see also there's a little bit of a here the cabin goes a little bit more in, and well, there's a lot of other stuff that is off. Also, this is much too symmetrical. It's also nice now after where we are, episode 8 or something. I don't know where we are in our series. How much I've learned actually, not only in terms of PlaneMaker, obviously, but also of the Skyhawk and of all the. Is also much too sloped. The numbers and all of the subtleties that I did see before, but now I actually see them. And I know why they are there in terms of the dihedral and the sweeps and the angle of incidences and why the vertical stabilizer is not completely in the middle and twisted and stuff. That's cool. I feel growing closer on that Skyhawk. Happy sounds good too. Still, I'm curious to see wings. And again, this is also interesting. The default 172 does this as well. With the wing section, your wings, at least your normal wings, are being mirrored to the other side. And that makes them symmetrical by definition. And actually, the Skyhawk does not have symmetrical wings. This entire wing section, which actually consists out of two, has a different dihedral angle. This entire wing section is a little bit more angled upwards than the other side to correct for all the prop wash and other aerodynamic stuff that's going on. Doesn't make a big difference when we fly it, but it's there for a reason. Yeah, here, slats, my gosh. What do we have? Well, we do have a prop wash, a wing wash. So that's good. It amounts to 3 degrees. That's good. As we read it in the service manual, so that's correct. It doesn't show a washout and a washout like the default 172 is doing. So that is also something that we are doing as well. But the initial angle that they start with and the angle that they end by is not correct. I'm sorry, it's not correct. So this angle is actually greater here at the tip than at the base. And it should actually be the other way around. The dihedral does come close to ours, actually. Alright, I was just curious. Okay. What time is it? 5:15. Okay. Not that much time to... Oh yeah, the wing flex, guys. Let's do that. Also should do the elevator trim, but I'm gonna keep that for later. We also fixed this one. Automation accounting, we did it. Yeah, the spinner, the stuff that I already mentioned. Wheel fairings dimensions. Yeah, eBay is a great resource. Get a lot of pictures, detailed pictures of aircraft components. Wing flex. So that's the wiggle of the wings that we... The amount of wiggle that we give to the wings when there's turbulence, I think, when we are taxiing. So let's open up our wonderful, the best in the world, the most accurate in the world, says the Skyhawk 172. There it is. I totally lost my... I didn't sleep that well. What are we doing? I totally lost what we were doing. Wing flags, thank you. Does it do wing flags? Obviously. But I guess not that much. And I'm just curious to see whether we can find something about it. Let me just do this. Cessna Skyhawk. No, no washout. Wing flex degrees. Let me see what's happening. So also connect these two. Limited by wing flex. Not so much. Yes, M3. Yeah. Let me first bring up the... It's over here. However, perhaps we are stuck. I'm not going to change it because I think this is better, but still. The wing flex does not work for the miscellaneous wings. It only works for the wings. And those we did not set because we noticed that they are asymmetrical. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. And again, these are the things that as a novice PlaneMaker guy, you like to know before you start, because then you can make a thorough What are we going to do, guys? So then my question would be, how significant is wing flex to our flight behavior? I mean, it wouldn't take that much of an effort to redesign our Skyhawk and just copy paste the numbers into the wing section. But then we lose that difference in dihedral angle, which I'm pretty proud of and fond of, grown fond of. But still, it's I would prioritize on flight performance. That's what's most important. So, to be honest, wing flex on a Skyhawk is going to be rather minuscule and most likely not affecting performance. Righty-to. Thanks. Yeah, they should show some kind of a flex, I guess, on their high turns. But how? Yeah, that's also. How many times are you actually going to do that much of a, maybe with steep turns, I guess, but also with steep turns, well, there is a bit of a load, obviously, quite a load, G load. But that maneuver is also, damn it. Damn it. Well, it's not really a big issue because we can easily change it, but I think that would be a question for Rush. How important is wing flex to a Cessna 172 SP? And I guess it doesn't really matter whether it's SP or not. But so Rush, again, by Airsim Gaming, the guy made that Super Cup together with others, and I know that he's very knowledgeable of aerodynamics and stuff, and he's always I've seen a lot of streams where he was optimizing on already existing aircraft models in PlaneMaker, doing all kinds of interesting maths, and I would like to do that as well. I actually should get myself an Airsim Gaming sweater when we're going to do our test flights and do that same stuff. I like to learn what he's doing as well and have a systematic approach to optimizing the Skyhawk and also test it, to evaluate, assess it. I have no idea how to go about that. And we could just take off and I would have a sense of speed and turns, but that's it. So to really fly by the book and with the tables, I need to learn. And he was so kind. I even not even asked for his help. I just came on his stream and he said, Tim, I just said hi and he said, Tim, I've heard a rumor that you are building your own Skyhawk. And he immediately said, any tips that you like, any help, any guidance, let me know. I can help you. I teach you all that which is so kind of him. It really excites me. That's the community, guys. That's awesome. So I have him on Discord and he said, well, we can do whatever. I could send him questions. I could do a Discord chat with him, but rather I'd like to invite him on stream here, so we can freely chat and I can ask him all of his questions, and then it's also part of the vlog series, so all of you guys know as well. Perhaps you have questions as well while we are here, and we can ask him. Yeah, what? Thanks for letting me know. So that's kind of like the idea, but I also imagine that he would actually need a drawing board to also explain a couple of stuff, and just by talking it would be quite hard to do that. I need to visualize what's going on, so perhaps it's better to divide it in chunks, and first perhaps just saying to him, well, could you just make a screen capture at your own computer at home, addressing the questions that we have, make a video, we'll stream the video here on the stream and we'll talk about it, and then we invite him for some debrief or some kind of something like that, because, or I should go on his stream and he can show it there, but I think it would be cool if he can illustrate what he's doing by showing the Piper Cub or whatever aircraft. He has M3, but it's cool stuff. I mean, wow, I really plan to do a lot more, or at least one IFR training flight this holiday break, and I spent all my hours on PlaneMaker. Now my average streaming time is about 4 hours. We also did a 10-hour stream straight PlaneMaker building, and I cannot stop thinking about aircraft development. So that's cool, but I have to stay still. I still love flying, and I will still do flying, and I will still continue to do my IFR training, but I cannot help myself. There's so much energy, so much curiosity. I really like it. And I cannot wait to get into the, that's the real chunk, that this stuff there, the blender stuff, the cockpit stuff, because that's the thing that I'm actually most annoyed by as a sim pilot. When we're flying, that the cockpit is not correct. I mean, it looks close enough and you can fly it, obviously, and I'm really enjoying the Default 172. They really did a proper upgrade for version 11, but it's not proper. The only proper cockpit layout, proportions stuff that I've seen so far is by A2A. I'd like to build that as well, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Let me just compare those. I'm actually a little bit done actually with feeling tired a bit, but I still like the stream. Let me, yeah, wing flex is a question that we need to ask Rush about, or anyone else who's knowledgeable of that. How much of a significant difference that will make. I would also expect that it would be negligible, but I'd like to hear. Cessna 172S. Cockpits or panel, whatever. Yeah, this is the original one, and again, perhaps we need to also build one with the HSI rather than just the HI. Well, it doesn't really matter which one we would take. Yeah, this one, I have a poster of this one. This actual poster by Sporties. No, I don't want this picture. Let me just get this one. It's all the same, but it... Ah. Alright, alright. Tools, size, large. Well, A2A is actually also a bit off with the coloring, I have to admit. Well, let's just pick this one. This one I'm going to make, well, not with this weird GPS thing in it, but looking at the pilot side, this is the cockpit that I'd like to make. Just a classic 172. Now look at the colors. Now if we take A2A 172, and you know guys, I'm a complete A2A lover, and they're still one of my dreams would be that they would come over to X-Plane, but we're gonna make our own Skyhawk. if you look at this, for example, and it doesn't matter at all, but just an example, look at the coloring. This is far too white. All the pictures, they are much more darker green. I painted my own cockpit also in that color. So it's a minor thing, but that's not correct. Also, if I look at the distance between the clock and the airspeed indicator is much more narrow than this one. Again, minor things, but why? It's just more stretched out. What system depth are you aiming for? I don't know, SN. I also have no idea what the scale actually is of depth in terms of systems. If I understand, guessing what you're trying to say there, what I'm hoping, I've also played with the thought. That's next. I was thinking about just making a Skyhawk and then shoot an email to SimCoders. So I'm partnered with SimCoders. I love the Reality Extension Pack. I love the work that they do. I love the support that they bring to us as the community. And I would love to see a rep for our Skyhawk as well. But I've also thought about, not to be competitive at all, but I'm also curious to see how they actually make how they make the Reality Extension Pack. It's through Python, I believe, and that involves a lot more coding. And perhaps that's obviously it's going to be an entirely different world, and I don't know whether I'm actually that interested in learning that as well. But if I would learn that, then I've got the total package, and I can make it as real as I would like it to be. And mostly that's not because of brain extra. You don't have to be a genius or so. It's just taking time and care, I think. It's not, I mean, these subtle differences, even though they don't matter still, this is not about being able to work with Blender or not. This is just taking care. This is just replicating. So don't worry about the wing flex. You change the dihedral encode at runtime. Maple, one piece of advice, don't make the glare shield look like A2A. It's too bent, make it flatter. Yeah, well, I'm not going to refer to A2A actually. Also, if you look at the instruments, yeah, these are just tiny things, but this image here, this plate is much more condensed, much more closely tacked, so perhaps even smaller than what you see here with A2A. You just look at the numbers here, there's much less room there. What I'm going to do is, there's a local airport here. We've got a 172 that does has this layout, but not exactly. It has the HSI thing there, which is also very, very cool. I'm going to ask to sit there with I know that instructor. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to photo the shit out of that cockpit. And we're gonna make it exact, and it's not that difficult. And what I'm also going to do, I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to learn how to use Blender, obviously. So obviously it's going to be a challenge, but given that you have a proper image, you also have the right measurements, you can find actually the measurements of these cockpit plates. Once I did that as well, I'm also going to look into sounds. I would also love to learn how to make a sound pack for the Skyhawk and to record that stuff. Now, I totally love the sound pack by Laminar. It's just absolutely great. I know with the 3D soundy stuff, also with SimCoders what they are doing, but I'm just curious to see how we should record that. And I need some equipment, so I guess we need to set up some donation goals as well to make that work. Just to learn and to get familiar with that process. I'm just curious, but also to make it our own. And 3, love your passion. That's good to hear. Don't shoot immediately to the moon because 100% guaranteed you will miss a lot at first. Well, I know, Toe. That's also one. That's also part of the project. It's not. I'm also really fueled by the idea that it's a continuous process. So it's not that I build it and then it's done. I think I'm gonna be continually developing it and making it better, including different cockpit layouts. I think that wouldn't be too difficult, and also give you guys all of the source code, especially with the liveries and stuff, so you can easily change up and make the cockpit that you like. What I do need to do, by the way, I thought about this when I was in the shower. I need to also license the thing, because what I don't like to see happening is that someone takes the our precious Skyhawk and then is gonna sell it. So it needs to be a creative, open. And I don't mind if others tweak it or whatever. It would be great if that would be shared, so I can learn from that as well. But it should always be free. It should be the to-go-to Skyhawk. If you have X-Plane and you like to learn how to fly, you just need to find that Skyhawk, download it, and you're done. It's made by the community for the community. That's kind of the spirit that I think is cool. So one thing I'd love to see in a 172 is a fully functional electrical system. The default one in X-Plane is half done. Okay. Well, again, that stuff I don't think that with this project, with this progress bar, as you can see on top, that is not included. I mean, I'm also limited here in PlaneMaker. So if we like to build our own electrical system, we need to build our own data refs, I guess. What I would love to see as well. Is, for example, these circuit breakers. Everything needs to be interactive. That's one. Independent of whether it's connected to a data ref or not, but I'd like everything to be interactive because I just like to push buttons. And then it would be great that I mean, that's what Airfoil Labs is doing. It's making its own data refs. But that's an entire world, an entire new world, different world from what we're doing here. But I am curious to see how they do it. I do love programming and stuff. I love working on this. I love the fact that you love what I do. Oh yeah, SN. Yeah, but SN, why don't you drop in on the Discord? So you can talk us through it. Be there very soon. Had to do a bit of work and stuff. Just, SN, just jump into the hangar voice channel. I'm already there the whole time. You could just jump in whenever you like, and we could just talk a bit if you like. SN is a aircraft developer too, and I've got a folder here with pictures that I'd like to show on stream with him talking about it, and we can ask him some questions. I don't have that much time. Let's say 15 minutes or so. But if you like, you can just jump on and we can chat, or we can do it another time. It doesn't really matter to me. Or I can just show the pictures if you like without us chatting. That's also good. Let me know, SN, what you like. Let's move first. Functions later. Exactly. Well, in that case, let me still bring up the still that cockpit. Man, this is such a pretty picture. Also, something that I find quite annoying with the default 172 cockpit. I do like an ADF though. Is the fact that I cannot read the annunciator panel from my ordinary view. My gosh, what a flight this is. Oh, actually, guys, that's what I'm going to do as well, which I hope that I can make it work. I'm going to visit New York City in April this year. And Keith of Pilot Edge invited me to meet up with him and we can do a flight. Which would be awesome. Again, he doesn't own a Skyhawk. He owns a Lance Air, a very quick, high-speed thingy. And perhaps we can do some IFR flights. So around April, I need to be on par with my IFR stuff. But that's going to be cool as well. Anyways, that I cannot read the annunciator panel with the default 172, even though my viewpoint is correct. Reference to how I was sitting in the Skyhawk 172 in the real world here. Explain. Yeah, this is the old one. Explain 11. Yeah, I've got my own pictures as well. Perhaps those are even best. Oh, this is also pretty. Explain. Oh man, look at that. Anyways, yeah, you do see differences. The proportions are a bit off. I find this one more pretty. But it seems a little bit stretched or something. There's something wrong about it. Also, this dashboard is much too wide, or the distance between this, between the firewall here, or the panel, and the edge of the dashboard here is much more narrow than with the 172 in X-Plane. Such a way that I cannot read the annunciator panel when I'm sitting with my track IR, as you already noticed. So I always need to peek down to see what's going on, which is not good when you're flying and you have a voltage or a vacuum failure or something. S1, if you want, you can show the pictures and I'll talk you guys through tomorrow in your next stream. I would have such a rush to get 15 minutes and I would want to tell it properly. All right. Well, I don't quite know the story, obviously, S1, of what you're doing, so that's why. But, well, the general, again, just to give you some context, I'm making this Skyhawk and I'm a total novice. I need to learn how to work with PlaneMaker and all these stages here in the progress bar, which I just made based on some videos. I'm not sure whether this is correct or what to expect. So that's why I would love to bring into this stream other more experienced, more knowledgeable, and more skilled aircraft developers for X-Plane, so we can create or increase the educational value of this vlog series. And so S1 contacted me on Discord saying, hey, I saw your series, so cool that you're busy. I'm actually part of a team which is also busy on working on an aircraft. And so we chatted a bit and I said, well, I would love to pick your brain as well. And you can come on stream and we can chat. And again, through that, in that same spirit, share knowledge and experiences. And so I said to him, well, could you just send me a few pictures to show off of stream, and perhaps we can talk about it and you can tell what you're doing. Well, they are working. I'm also curious what the team is, S1, and how you work together and stuff. Thanks for the follow. Why don't I see a... I didn't see a notification on my stream. Did you guys see that? That's chat. It should be that one. Weird. Anyways. A380. Look at that beast. They make all kinds of different objects here. I guess that's Blender, but And then you told me that you're also working with 3D Max. Oh, this is a better picture actually. Which I'm also curious what the differences or advantages or disadvantages might be of working with Blender versus 3D Max. Here the stairs inside the 380. Wow. And just the general flow. Look at that cockpit. You're part of the Advanced Dynamics Development Group. That's the name. And again, I'm quite unfamiliar of these subgroups in the flight sim community that are working together making airplanes. So it's also fun to raise the awareness a bit. This stuff I cannot wait to do. That's the cockpit stuff. Then you will see real passion, guys. I guess because it connects more with me. Well, obviously the airframe is also pretty important for the pilot, but with the cockpit, it's something that I look at all day when I'm flying. I like to make that work. Microsoft, good to see you. My dad uses 3D Max for work. It's expensive and it's more professional and harder to use. That doesn't sound good. And then the exterior is done in Blender. The cockpit is done in 3D Max. Why? Because I know that Blender does provide animation as well. You can do everything with Blender. Why are you using 3D Max? Also, I've got another question. I saw some other guy that I'm following. Is it on Twitter? YouTube, I think. And I saw him work in Photoshop. No, not Photoshop, but kind of a merger of Photoshop and some 3D application, substance texturing, and I thought, oh man, I would love to learn that. J. Roland? No, I don't think yes, it is. Cockpit texturing in Substance Painter. Drool, drool, drool. Here's the guy. Look at that. So he's making textures for here are the rudders and stuff, and there's a light. This is awesome. I don't know what it's called, Substance Painter. Well, again, I would love to learn about what applications the pros are using to create these wonderful cockpits. SN 3ds Max is the main software our cockpit modeler uses. He will port it over to Blender for animations and stuff. Yeah, I get that, but why? Why isn't he using just Blender? Perhaps we should invite him as well, as you already suggested here on stream, so he can refer. But again, this is great stuff. And look at this, it's really coming together. I cannot wait for you guys to launch it. Even though I'm a small JA aircraft flyer, I believe there's no A380. Isn't it true that Matt is also working on this, Billins? Not in this project, but he's also working on a A380? Not sure. He's used to 3D Max, that's why he's working. Okay. Well, if I follow Microsoft's advice, it's much more complex, and because I'm totally blank here, I should actually spend all my time getting familiar with Blender and make it in that environment. And perhaps Substance Painter should be added to the progress bar, because I thought it was just photoshopping, making those textures. But also with A2A and all the airplanes is also just merely... Perhaps, I don't know what Substance Painter is, but it looks great, and perhaps it should be an intermediate kind of stage here. Or the last one, I don't know. M3, dude, 3D Studio Max is overkill for your host here, but what's your dad working on these days? Cause 3D Max is more powerful. Yes, Matt also started an A380, thanks Kimo. It's more powerful, 3D Max. Well, there's nothing wrong with more powerful. Guys, I need to stop the stream soon. I'm really having a great time with you guys, but it's time to order some Chinese and really start some eating with Mrs. Uncertified because I'm hungry. 3DS Max. I just like to see it. Autodesk, free software. More images. Not that that really shows you what it can do, but oh man. I would love to learn this. Well, this is next level stuff, I know, but and again, this is stuff that, well, Rush was referring to Evil Nando as a user, and I believe even, I don't know, I've seen an Evil here on the stream as well in chat, but I don't know if it's Evil Nando, but he did all the 3D modeling and coding for the Super Cup. I would love to pick his brain as well. And also know these differences and what they learned, and as a novice, what I should look out for, common pitfalls and stuff. This is fancy stuff, but Blender is was also recommended by many. Yeah, a Blender. Blender 3D models. Just buying a Blender here and expecting it to work. Actually, just from the interface, I think Blender looks more complicated, but that's just me, I think. It doesn't look that sophisticated. Well. M3, yeah, Matt's team. A380. After all the criticism of other devs, really looking forward to that one. I didn't know that he was making aircraft also. Or did he already make a aircraft before? Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure what's going on there. And again, this A380 looks very promising as well, SN. Good work. And this is our tiny Skyhawk. And I'm already enjoying the fact that we are taking a lot of care making all of these airframes. I mean, it is very, very precise. And well, wing flex is an issue, might be an issue, perhaps a negligible issue, we don't know. Let's make the list and quit the stream. Meanwhile, well, we could just put it here. That's what we're going to do next. And then we're going to do all of the airfoils. Propeller blades as well. Aligning the fuselage with the wings. Yeah, that's a last step. Flaps, elevators, rudders, 1 or 2. Oh, yeah. So, with the wings... no, with the miscellaneous stuff. Miscellaneous wings. We were talking about this in earlier streams. So, you can see we got an aileron 1 and an aileron 2. And one is for the inboard and one is for the outboard. The second one is inboard and the one is outboard. So one is at the near, one is at the end of the wings tips. I thought. I don't know where I read it. I think PlaneMaker. But when I loaded up the default 172, they only used the first row, not the second one. And so I thought, flag, I'm doing something wrong and we need to look that up. Perhaps that's a first. Flaps, elevators, rudders, 1 or 2. Elevator trim, yes. Yeah, the thing is, I made a customized font color here for each sticky note, so that's why I'm not copy pasting this, because then I have a bluish kind of font onto. Who cares? Yeah, so then the airfoil. And that's gonna be airfoil maker, guys. Airfoil maker. Main wings. that's going to take an entire episode for sure. Main wings, and perhaps we need to, as we saw with the default 172, make a separate airfoil for the root part and the tip part. Roots plus tip section. Henny, thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, flaps up, gear up. Also had a follow a while ago, which I didn't acknowledge just yet. Flaps, thank you for that follow. But apparently my notifications, just the visuals, are not there, and I have no idea why they are not there. And it's always a bit annoying because I didn't change anything and it suddenly just doesn't appear anymore, so it's weird. Yeah, so that's something that we need to look for, the root and the tip. And I'm quite pleased if we do that. Oh yeah, customize chords checkbox. Yeah, that's something that I will look to as well. This thingy. So we can actually change the root chord and the tip chord per station. Perhaps we need to use it because if I look at the picture here, we're actually quite close. Almost perfectly. Top. Aircrafts. Top. We're actually very nicely. Let me see. Are we? Well, something like this. Actually need to move these things actually a little bit more out, as you can see. Yeah, if you look at all the surfaces here and the stations, they are perfect. And what PlaneMaker obviously is doing, you've got a tip chord and a root chord of that wing section, and it just averages out the change, and you can just got a straight line. And in our case, that's totally fine. But I guess with some other airplanes, or weird looking ones, or your own inventive fantasies that you like to build in PlaneMaker, you might want not to average that one out. So I just noticed that, and I think it's not relevant for us. Customized washout total 3.6 degrees, 61 degrees. That's kind of okay. Already checked that. Vertical stabilizer airfoil, yeah, that's all going coming up next. And this one I'm going to remove here as well. Two symmetric airfoil roots, yeah, that's what I'm going to look at. Okay, so that's up next. Well, tomorrow is going to be a family day. I'm not at home, so I will not stream tomorrow. And starting Monday, I'll start working again at the university. So I don't have that much time. So there will not be 3-4 hour streams, unfortunately. So they will be quite shorter, but that's just how it is. And I'm hoping that you guys can still make those streams because I really like your presence here. It's going to be also later streams of around most likely 18:30 Zulu wish. That will be the time when I will stream. So that's after work, after dinner actually. But I will post all of that stuff as usual through my Twitter and Discord. So if you're curious, follow me on Twitter and you'll know, and you can jump aboard or jump into the hangar here once I start streaming. Okay, so Microsoft's Blender Guru. Yes, I'm already familiar with that. Blender Guru, I've already seen some tutorials actually. That's a great guy, great videos. Yeah, the donut. I've already been working, not really working on that, but following that video tutorial. So this is what you would like to see actually for PlaneMaker as well, this kind of quality. So yeah, that will be my starting point. So I think I'm just gonna work with Blender. Again, no pretzel. Thank you for your contributions today. We made our lists. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So, yeah, really coming together here. Let me just put on the... By the way, just before we go, that's going to be a meanwhile thing to optimize the tip of the fuselage to match the picture. Yeah, that was just a tiny thing that I just noticed. But anyways, quite pleased with the progress that we made. Made the wing twist, the washout work. Yes. So that's quite cool. And that means that we can now move on to unfamiliar terrain of airfoilmaker, a separate application from PlaneMaker, where we're gonna delve into, well, airfoils. Which is going to be very, very interesting also for our propeller. So that's up next. So if you're as curious as me, be sure to join me in my next stream. It's going to be Monday or Tuesday. Again, Twitter or Discord, that's where I will announce my streams. Also, meanwhile, if you have any comments or suggestions or links or manuals, anything that can help me to make our Skyhawk better, just send me an email, tim@uncertifiedpilot.com, or drop it on Twitter or anywhere where I'm at, Discord, so I can use that as valuable input to make that Skyhawk, accurate Skyhawk, a reality. And as always, guys, thank you for all your suggestions also here on stream. Kimo, thank you for dropping by. Good to see you after such a long time. M3, all of you guys here, Scrab, Microsoft, thank you guys. Hoping to see you very, very soon. And as always, happy flights and blue skies.